Ah, ah. Ah, ah, tla, e, e.
Aproveito para hoje, pelas 14h30, teremos uma sessão de esclarecimento com o autor Diogo Barbosa de Melo, que escreveu o livro A Finta de uma Vida, em que conta a sua experiência no mundo do desporto. Uma sessão que conta com a presença do canoísta José Ramalho, expoente máximo da maratona em Portugal. A apresentação será feita na tenda da Fricom, uma tenda azul que está ali situada junto ao bar do clube.
We'll be the K1 first. K1 then junior men C1. No one cares. No one cares about medal presentation, do they? Those three guys do. Yeah, but it's getting not actually getting it. Nobody wants to go up there and stand there like that. They are.
You have now what that the first place in the company. Yes, you are missing that kind of at all.
Are they doing the presentation now? After this? That's all we need. We'll talk about it.
It's 10 minutes to the start. 10 minutes to the start. Women's K1 under 23. 10 minutes.
10 minutos apenas para o início da próxima regata na categoria K1 feminino no escalão sub-23.
Yeah, it's definitely outside. Welcome back to the venue of the 2018 World Marathon Canoe Championships here at Vila Verde. Already 2 good races under our belt and more to come. A view back to the start line, and the next race to be on that start line is the under 23 women's K1. Here's the course they'll be racing. Green line represents the start, and it's up past a few rocks and under the bridge, the right hand 2 arches of the bridge. Left hand as they look at it. Up to the top turn, halfway up to the top turn, gets deep the water, around the top turn, clockwise course for convenience sake, back down. Over some shallows there, and then deep water until now where it's shallow again, back down to the left of the island, through the left hand arches of the bridge, and back to the start. This is the first lap. On all subsequent laps, now red, we'll do exactly the same course, but this time we go over the portage. Portage marked in yellow there isn't all sandy, it's mainly grass with stones to get in and out of. And the final lap, of course, the 1,000 metre short lap, and back to the finish. 3,600 metres for each big lap and 1,000 metres for each small lap. We have the under 23 women and the junior men's C1 in this session. There's the boats the women will be in. Double-bladed paddle, length 520 centimeters, minimum weight 8 kilograms. And
that differs a little bit from sprint that has a weight of 12 kilograms for a certain reason.
For what reason? That they couldn't make boats lighter than 12 originally?
Yeah. And we are carrying the boats in the portages, and it should be possible to do that in a good way.
So here's your start list. Christy McKenzie, we've just seen Mackenzie do extremely well in the Junior K1. All family, some cousins, some sisters, and I've already lost track of who's who, so I'm not going to venture into that one. Sophia Chelai, world silver medalist and European champion, was second on that list. Sabina Laurie, 59 there, world champion surf ski paddler, and we've seen surf ski paddlers do well in the marathons before. Anna Sletjo, also one of the contenders. Lily Katona from Hungary, also. We've just seen Hungary 1 and 2 in the juniors, and they are also under 23 world champion and European champion, as they are, it seems, in the C1 men juniors. Slightly different weight on the boat there. We're up to 10 kilos in the single-bladed paddler. I'm sure most of us watching that will know that, but for those out there who are new to the sport, there you go. So here we go for the junior men's C1. The big players are the Hungarians, and we got a Portuguese guy here, not on screen yet. Arthur Leach from Great Britain was 5th at the Europeans. Adrian Kloss 2nd at the Europeans, and Leonardo Vicente was 4th at those European Championships just a few weeks ago. But you can't rule out Balázs Pitnauer, 81 from Hungary. We always rate the Hungarians because history tells us to, but we've already seen a slight stumble from them in the first race of the day, Stefan.
Not the K1 juniors then, but on the C1, yeah.
I mean, we've never seen Hungary out of the medals in the C1 junior women ever, and you know, we're so used to the medals piling up from the first race for the Hungarians. Sure, they've got 2 medals from 2 events so far, but you would have pretty much banked on 4 from 2.
Absolutely. Hungary, that last year and the year before and many years have won more medals in the World Championships, Marathon World Championships, than all other nations altogether. So it tells a little bit of the dominance from Hungary in this category of ICF paddling. Maybe we should see something else now. It opens up a little bit, as it seems.
And it's hot here in commentary. So hot that I think my computer's just stopped working, which is a bit stressful. So 64 there from Canada, Emma Mitchell. She'll be starting closest to us. Top of your picture.
The starter has called the under 23 women's K1 to the start line.
Os juízes de partida estão já a realizar a chamada para as atletas que vão participar na regata em K1 feminino no escalão sub-23. E vemos nas imagens, efetivamente, as canoístas a alinharem na plataforma de partida.
Caitlin McKenzie. Christy McKenzie, top of shot there. 3rd in the Junior World Championships last year. And in the yellow boat, Sam Rees-Clark. 3rd at the Europeans, but also 3rd in K2 Senior in Oklahoma a few years back with Amy Ward. Superb race on that day as they back on to the pontoon. 60, Irati Osa, 6th in Europe. Also a contender, 62, Lily Katona in the yellow boat that we've already seen take 1 victory today. Bit of a smaller field than the juniors. They're back on to the pontoon. 61 there, Anna Sletjo. 4th in Europe and 9th in the world last year. So Chile, I think the athlete to watch here. She's so strong. So she's second from the top in what looks like a blue boat. That reflects. Get a cover there. And away they go.
And the K1 women under 23 are underway. These paddlers are doing 6 laps with 5 portages. And straight away we can see 52 is Sofia Selesforos from Hungary, and with the British paddler of Samantha Rees-Clark on her left.
Exatamente, momentos iniciais desta terceira regata do dia em K1 feminino no escalão sub-23. Assistimos quase a uma repetição da regata da manhã. Toma a dianteira o Kayak amarelo da atleta da Hungria, também a lutar pelas posições cimeiras, ali a britânica, como vemos agora nas imagens. De referir que as atletas que estão a iniciar agora a sua prestação neste Campeonato do Mundo Maratona têm de realizar 6 voltas, 5 portagens, mais aquela volta pequenina de 500 metros antes de terminarem a sua prestação. Desta forma, prefazem um percurso de 22 km e 600 metros.
So, although it's a very fast start from Hungary off the start, going downstream through the bridge arch, there's a group of 5, 6, 7 paddlers all together at this stage, just to establish themselves in the best position in the group.
Então é a Lili Katona da Hungria a ditar o ritmo desta prova.
at the moment. Hodovan, Vicente, and Dunilak.
And we just got some report from the upper turn from the ladies, and it's still Shelai Varus in the lead. Katona is there and Reese Clark, and then it's a slight gap to Sledge, but just a couple of seconds. So they are all four together as it seems. Shelai Varus, Katona, Reese Clark, and Sledge. And just 6 minutes, 6 seconds behind is Man and Osa.
And there it is on screen. And as Chelai pushes the pace, Samaris Clark ducks around the back of the two of them, the two Hungarians, and it looks like there's a bit of an effort here to break that to 3 permanently. So glad to hear that sound's back on, and we will get you back up to speed with what's happening as soon as we can. There's the view up the course from the start pontoon.
But we just saw the ladies having done their upper turn once again after 5.2 kilometers, heading down to the first portage, and it was Salivarus in the lead, and Katona, Reese Clark, and Sledger is in the group, and right behind them, just a couple of boat lengths, is Man and Osa. Man from Australia and Asa from Spain.
So as we wait here at the portage for them, Man and Osa, a long way to go. Slet Joe just off the back of that group. So Katona, Reese Clark, and Chelai Voros, the 3 main players. So Reese Clark, I mean, we haven't seen her for a little while. She didn't race under 23 last year. We got a different medalist there. But she got a medal back in Oklahoma in K2 Senior Women. So she's, you know, she's a quality athlete.
Absolutely, and she has been around a bit, even since she was a junior, as he said, and always doing well. Anna Sledger, the same. Anna Sledger, whose mother won the World Championships in Copenhagen back in 1990. Ingeborg Rasmussen, and she's actually here watching her daughter.
And she's made steady progress. She hasn't been at the top end yet, but she is coming through. She's definitely more competitive now than she has been.
Yeah.
So in the white boat, Chelai Vorosh, Katona. Why do they have to have 2 yellow boats in one group, Stefan? It'd be so much easier if there were 3 different colours. So Katona on the side wash currently, and Samaris Clark on the half V behind Chelai. And here, Slet Joe has fallen back to Man and Osa. Man from Australia, Osa from Spain. And behind them could be another Spaniard, which will be Toledo. I'm not sure who's with her. South African is going to be Christy McKenzie.
Yeah, it is.
So these girls coming up close to the edge, relatively shallow, especially around that point where we've just seen Mackenzie. So we got 3 from 2, and that back group is Toledo and Mackenzie. Mackenzie, first year at this level in under 23, 3rd junior last year.
And after them now, everyone has passed this turn. As you said, Toledo on the 7th position, then follow Mackenzie, Laurie from South Africa, both. Then Nelson from Australia, Vareja from Portugal, Nogueira from Portugal, Mitchell from Canada, and Harada from Japan.
We've seen Cello race quite a lot. She's always happy to do a lot of work and keep the speed.
Her problem is to stay cool.
On.
Yeah. We saw her in the World Cup. She did impressively good, but didn't stay cool enough to in the far end. But this is not the only race she's doing here this weekend. She's also paddling K2 with Renata Che on Sunday.
And if you're going to paddle K2 with someone, if you've been picked by Renata Che, then you're probably not too bad.
Oh. No, she's definitely a coming star in this very, very strong Hungarian team.
So they're just coming under the bridge now. This will be their first portage, I think. Well, you'd hope. Celai is certainly better at portaging than Ficchetti. Sam Rees-Clark, always very tidy on her portages. She's grown up doing portage races back in the UK. Sletjo now, mixing it with Osa and Mann. It's a little while since we've seen an Australian lady up in the top 6 as well.
Yeah, that's nice.
So just
they had a world champ once in the K1 ladies, Jane Hall.
Jane Hall, way back, what, 1990?
Yeah, in Australia.
Yeah. 92 then.
92, yeah.
So Celai leads from Katona, from Sam Rees-Clark, and the gap between them and Group 2 is widening all the time, nearly 100 meters now. It's great to have the graphics on the screen for us, and I'm sure for you also. And the first portage is now looming. And we'll see what the relative portage abilities are like. So Celai in the glasses, Katona in the yellow boat, and the Hungarian shirt, obviously, and tucked in the back, nice and tidily, Sam Rees-Clark from Great Britain. Well, very different story to the junior racing. Katona, slowest out of her boat, but much higher level of competence than we saw earlier today. Celai running well. All three girls running very comfortably. So Celai first back in. And away strongly. She's not letting up at all. So it's game on. Celai from Katona. And Sam Rees-Clark is dangerously far back. If the two Hungarians get together, we've seen it so many times, it gets very hard for the others.
We have seen Celai Vörus doing exactly this previously this season, going very, very fast out from the portage, trying to get her teammate together with her and then just go for it.
Osa and Mann running side by side. Sletjo just getting into the blue boat now. Osa first away, Mann on her left-hand side. Sletjo just about keeping in contact, but the two Hungarians are away, and it's a 50-meter gap back to Rees-Clark.
And the gap increases, and they are going full speed now. Celai Vörus, as we are used to see her now, in the lead, stretching out, going very, very fast, but comfortable enough to sustain this hard speed.
So 10 seconds back to Reece Clark at the turn, and that 10 seconds has opened up to nearer 20 already. Then a big gap back to Mann, Sletjo and Osa, and there's your lead two, and they're going to trade leads and extend this gap dramatically over the next few minutes.
And they are still extending the gap. I think it's up to close to 100 meters already.
Little look back from Chelai there, and no let up in the speed. She wants the gap to widen.
Ensure medals for Hungary, meaning that Samantha is left alone.
There's the gap. It's bigger. It was 10 seconds at the turn. You can see it's bigger than that already. And Sam Rees-Clark's 42 meters and 44 meters, and we can watch that go up, I'm sure, if that graphic stayed up. Nearly 45 meters now, and it's only going one way, I'm afraid, that gap. 46 as we left the graphic. And the relentless work that Chelai is prepared to put in is going to be unassailable, I think. So it's going to be a long race now for Sam Rees-Clark. She has to decide whether to go back to the next group or to fight her own race on her own in limbo there. So heading towards us now, we've got Japan and Canada. That's going to be Yomi Harada from Japan, and from Canada, Emma Mitchell. But round the bottom turn, 53, huge round of applause from the crowd, is Nara Varela from Portugal. Followed closely by a compatriot, 63, Naguera, also from Portugal. Excuse me. So Naguera makes her way across to the bottom turn, and that's one portage done. And I think the speed coming into that first portage, the speed from the top turn down to the portage, had done enough damage to Sam Rees-Clark that when the screws were turned, there was no response. And here we go, up to the men's canoes. So leading, as he has been for some time, is Dunilac of France, and on his side is Hodovan from Hungary, and at the moment at least no sign of Vicente from Portugal. Vicente very much favoured for a medal by the locals, but it looks like he's fallen back to the group behind. So lead two, and about a 60-metre gap back to the chase pack in the men's junior C1. So in this group, we'll give you a name check. We've got from Hungary, Balazs Pitnauer in 81. In 83 there, we have Abel da Costa from Spain. 75, Adrian Kloss, second in Europe from Poland, and boat 80, Vicente from Portugal. They're all moving well together, and they'll come into the portage together, but they are some 80 metres behind the lead two, which is Dunilac and Hodovan. So Kloss, Vicente, Pitnauer and da Costa make up the chase in four. 100 metres behind the lead two of Dunilac and Hodovan. Behind them, that could well be Arthur Leach and possibly Jan Deleshi from Czech Republic. If it is Arthur Leach, he's done a great job to get back in contention after his early swim. But so far, these two untroubled. Dunilac from France and Hodovan from Hungary. So Dunilak, Hodovan come in for portage number 1. They both paddle on the same side. Foot out, standing up. A little bit ragged from Dunilak, Hodovan, tidy. But they're both out together. Hodovan just having a little empty out. Both running well, and here comes Hodovan. Covering the ground a little better maybe than Dunilak. Closed the gap he lost while he emptied his boat. And they're both going to get back in together, and it'll be back to normal service resumed for these two. Just saw Dunilak pick his drink straw out the water, so he's chosen to carry his drink with him in his boat. Hodovan's chosen to carry it on his back, and the Polish and Portuguese both through the drinks lane as they get their drinks handed to them on the run. But there goes Vicente. The crowd are going wild for him as the top two make it round the turn. The others get in from the portage. So there's the gaps. Dunilak is with Hodovan, who must have lost his tracking device. Vicente and Klos together as they get in the water, about 30 seconds behind. So for those who want regular updates of the exact positions of everyone, you can actually go onto the Track website. That's trac.com. And there you'll see the 2018 Canoe Marathon World Championships. And you can call up all the data you like on that Track website. So if you've got a friend who isn't in shot, you can see them live on the Track website.
There's also a link from the organizers' website to it. It's the GPS system.
The Dunilak leads from Hodovan. Just as I say that, he backs off and lets Hodovan take the lead. He'll sit on the wash for a little bit. Taking a little bit of a ride from Hodovan. They've opened up a sizable gap, 30 seconds or so on the chase pair, which is Vicente and Klos from Portugal and Poland respectively. The gap might be bigger than 30 seconds. So running over the portage now from Germany, we have Yannick Vinol. And from Portugal, we have Luis Varao. So they're both in together. Luis Varao there from Portugal, the second of the Portuguese athletes.
We got some report from the upper turn of the ladies K1. Shalai together with Katona, and now the gap is 40 seconds to Reese Clark and 1 minute 20 to Man Sletcher and Osa.
Meanwhile, Koketsu from Japan really running well over the portage. A little bit hesitant getting in. There seems to be some sort of problem with getting in there, but ran well, and now he's back in his boat. Using his leg to drag the boat, front of the boat round, I guess. The Japan. That's, sorry, it's Kotaro Ota from Japan, not Koketsu. So boat 84, Ota from Japan. Makes his way round the bottom turn. 71 from Spain, C1M Tanya.
Yeah, the ladies, Schleivers and Katona, 40 seconds before Samantha Rees-Clark at the turn, a couple of 100 meters from this point. Followed by Mann and Sletcher and Assa, 1 minute 20 behind. And after them are Toledo, Mackenzie, Toledo and Mackenzie, 2 minutes 10 seconds behind. Followed by Laurie and Varela. Laurie from South Africa as well, and Varela from Portugal.
So with gaps that sort of size, Sam Rees-Clark's kind of in no man's land there. Really, it is a waiting game, I think, for that second group to catch her up. But yeah, there's danger in that next group with Mackenzie and Toledo. They're two good workers, and I think they could close the gap between themselves and the group of three in front. But out the front, no doubt, Stefan. They're going further away. They're going to be further away every lap now.
What do you think is Samantha's thinking now, being in this awkward position?
Are you still at a stage there where you're feeling sorry for yourself that you've lost the front group, or have you readjusted to a new race? It's sort of a middle ground there. She knows she can't catch these two, so her choice is either to go it alone or to wait for the group behind. She is faster than the group behind on the speed.
Yeah.
So there's not a lot of danger in being caught up, I would say. You can still win that group anyway.
You mean she has confidence enough to do that, to rest a little bit and wait and be strong in the end, instead of using too much energy trying to keep them off?
You can lose everything by holding them off the next 2-3 laps.
Yeah.
So I would...
It depends a bit what kind of paddler you are.
Well, she's a strong paddler. I mean, she's strong mentally, strong physically. Distance doesn't scare her, but it's just playing the odds, I think. You have to make your decisions. Certainly, if it was me in that position and you can't catch these two, I would wait for the group behind. I would be more comfortable with that.
And I would do the opposite. So it depends on
there you go.
On your strength.
Yeah. But no one's catching Chelai. Paddles so nicely, so tidily. But Katona matching her. They were both clean on the first portage. There'll be less stress on this one than on the first one. You can see the gap back to Sam Rees-Clark is opening up, and the chase three there of Mann, Osa and Sletjo in the distance. I'm interested in the gap between them and the chase two, which is Mackenzie and Toledo. I think all the South Africans are pretty much prepared to work hard, and Toledo we've seen do some good races in the past as well. So it's not over for them in terms of the chase for the bronze medal.
No, it's still a long way to go.
So this morning we saw the juniors and the junior C1s not hugging the edge of the river like this against the flow. Certainly the Canadian who ended up winning, so it didn't do her any harm, was coming through the second arch of the bridge and probably some 50, 60 meters out from the edge of the river in the flow. But these girls, they've raced, I mean, it's not dissimilar to Giura, this course, is it? Shallow, up the edge against the flow.
But the flow differs a bit on this river. We saw during the Masters racing that it was suddenly the opposite direction for a couple of hours and then shifted again. I don't know why, but it has to do with the dam and how they manage the water here. And river racer, people used to river racing can read the water.
Read it very easily.
Very easily.
So, portage number 2 coming up. Standing up, not losing contact with the boat for any length of time at all, discarding the drinks bags on the portage, and Chelai comes through for a replacement. Cleanly done by her support crew as Katona opts not to get a drink, or a fresh drink at least, on this lap.
Very good runners, both of them. This is fast. It's fast running.
We've discussed it in the past, but the lap times of the under-23s are not slower than the lap times of the seniors.
No, we will see. I think Chelai Vares, she have done also very good races in seniors. We saw him in the World Cup and also in the Europeans. And she's doing seniors K2 in the end of this week as well. So it's not a big
closing
difference.
that, it's only length, but she closed it very confidently.
Yes.
Immediately, no hesitation. She didn't wait on a wave. She's straight over it.
They're working very well together.
Sam Rees-Clark through the drinks lane. She'll be getting a drink given to her by Charlie Smith, who we'll see racing later on in the weekend in the K2 seniors with Magnus Gregory. It's not a face with joy written all over it, that's for sure. It's hot out there. And Stefan's on the watch, timing the difference between the lead two and Sam Rees-Clark. And let's just settle for it being significant, I think. It's not a gap that Sam has the power to close. But still moving well and not looking back. And so that there's a little glance over to see where everyone else is. And everyone else is, 30 seconds, 40 seconds behind. So Slet Joe there from Norway in the blue boat. Osa from Spain. And somewhere
52 seconds behind. They are 52 seconds behind Samantha now. So they are not catching. It was 40.
Yeah, it was 40 before and 50 now. So Sam Rees-Clark moving well enough to hold these off. And Osa making hard work of catching up to Slet Joe. In fact, she's changed her mind and sat on the tail. And Rebecca Mann from Australia, she's got a dangerously big gap opened up in front of her. And she does not look like she's going to close that gap. So the gap between Rees-Clark and this group, about 50 seconds. That's a big gap.
It's a big gap, and it increased 10 seconds on the way down. So, so Samantha is really going fast.
So Mackenzie and Toledo running over their portage as the lead two. Chelai and Katona increase their lead. They're on lap 4. And there's Toledo leading Mackenzie. Sizable gap in front of them as well. And possibly the procession has begun, and maybe there won't be too many position changes between now and the finish. But we've seen that happen before. So looking back to the second Australian there, who's also looking back. So we're looking at Isabel Nielsen there. And she's looking back to the Portuguese athlete, possibly Varelia from Portugal.
And the C1s have passed the upper turn, 9 kilometers. Dunilak still in the lead. Together with him is Hordovan. And they have a gap of 20 seconds to Klaus and Vicente, who are together followed by another 20 seconds behind Da Costa and Pitnauer. And on 7th position is Dolese, 8th Leach, 9th Varajo, and 10th Vianand, and 11th is Ota from Japan. That's
Well, Stefan was updating you on the positions there. You saw the lead two come in to the picture from a very different angle to the Portuguese and Polish behind them. That's because they tried to avoid the really shallow section on that point there, and they decided to stay in a bit deeper water. Portuguese and Polish sticking to the edge of the river. They'll all be coming round to their second portage shortly. As we look back to Canada's Emma Mitchell, and from Japan there, Yomi Harada. Maybe if there's someone local on site listening to the live feed, they could bring us some food, because I'm starving. If not, we'll have to find our own. But the leaders in the men's C1 is France from Hungary, as it has been for quite a while now. We're looking at Dunilac from France, stripy shirt and headband, and Hodovan from Hungary in the white shirt with the drink system on his back there. Just behind them, Klos and Vicenti, and behind them, Pitnauer and Da Costa. So this is Klos and Vicenti. So Klos and Vicenti not losing too much ground on the leaders. There's the graphic of distance, just under 70 meters. And coming down rapidly by the look of it. I don't know if how accurate that measurement is. It was 70 meters, now it's 50 meters. Seems to be sticking around 50 meters. Oh, now it's back up to 70. So a little bit vague on the distances, but it gives us a good idea. We're flicking between 50 and 70 meters. We'll call it 60 meters. But you can see these two opting for the slightly deeper water. The others happy to crawl up the riverbank, try and stay out of the flow. So Dunilac leading from Hodovan. So portage number 2 for these guys, and you can see that gap is closing. So it's closing between the first and second group and the third group, which is Pitnauer and Da Costa, who's also not terminal. First two out, a little bit slow from both of them. And the chase pair will take heart from that. So as they run across the front of us, it's Dunilac who is going for it. But Hodovan is more than up to it was a significant effort from Dunilak there, but Hodovan runs the better of the two. So they may have pulled out a bit distance on the pair behind, because Vicente is in all sorts of trouble emptying his boat out. So Vicente's lost ground on Klos from Poland. Front two back together. So, Klos, the lone chaser of the front two. There's Vicente. He lost a bit of ground, but he seems to be almost back in contact with Klos. Next in the water was Da Costa. And he's with Pitnauer of Hungary.
And the ladies has passed the 10-kilometer turn, the 12.6 kilometer turn, and it's still Hungary, of course, in the lead together. Katona and Shalai Verus, and Reese Clark is 51 seconds behind now, and behind her is Sledger, Osa and Mann. Sledger and Osa together 1 minute 39 seconds behind the leading Hungarians. And it seems like Mann from Australia has dropped off that the group of three. She is now 2 minutes behind. So double Hungary, and then Reese Clark, and then followed by Sledger and Osa. And they have now, it's 40 seconds. So they are catching a little bit.
Yeah, we saw Mann just didn't make contact with him after the portage, and that gap seems to have opened up. Reese Clark pretty much halfway between the front group and the chase group. So she's on her own for at least another lap, I would think, maybe more. To me, it looks like it's worth her while now. The speed differential is so small that I think it's worth going on your own and seeing what happens. Arthur Leachin shot there with the Czech Republic paddler, which is Dolejci from Czech Republic. They're working together. A little bit unlucky for Leach to be back there. Should really have been probably with the second group, but he's doing well. Currently fighting it out for 7th and 8th. Third and fourth rather in shot there. Klos and Vicente. A nice view. It looks there like there's no crowd, but that's because it's so hot here on those steps that everyone is back another row under the trees. There's a nice little cafe at the back there as well, serving drinks and snacks.
It's a great area, a great venue. Yeah, they're very close in between the spectators and the athletes and all the administration. The organisers have done a great job, as always in Portugal.
Yeah, and you can see they've got the big screen, so they're seeing what you're seeing back at home on the big screen, floating on a pontoon right in front of the stands. And what they can see at the moment is not anymore. For now, we're looking at Portugal and Germany running through the portage, which is going to be Yannick Wainaud and Luis Varejão from Portugal. So what we had seen just before that was the two leaders in the women's K1 and Sam Reese Clark holding her own. Very similar distance behind them as she was a lap ago. And that's great news for her.
And also Toledo and Mackenzie have passed the 12.6 kilometers, and they are 3 minutes behind now. Well together, Toledo and Mackenzie. And Laurie and Varela on 9th and 10th position in the ladies, 5 minutes behind, also well together. So the top 10 at the ladies K1 is Katona and Verde. Here we can see them 56 seconds before Samantha Rees-Clark, and then Anna Sletcher and Ossa 1:39 behind. Mann and Toledo, Mann 2 minutes behind, Toledo 3 minutes together with Mackenzie, and then following Laurie and Varea.
But certainly Chilai doing more than her share of the work here, isn't it?
She always does.
Seems to be leading.
She always does.
Yeah.
She liked that, be in control. Very confident young paddler.
I envy her. I envy her, Stefan, for what would it be to be a nice, confident young paddler? Those were the days, eh?
Yeah.
But you can see in the background there, Sam Rees-Clark is not losing ground on them anymore. Sletjo in the far distance now, leading her group, which still Sletjo and Osa. They're working hard back there.
It's a great view here under the Roman Bridge. You can see the traffic still using this 1,000-year-old bridge, which is quite amazing.
They do old bridges in Portugal. Remember in Ponta de Lima we had the same Roman bridge?
Exactly. The Romans really built for the future.
They obviously needed to cross the river a lot, those Romans.
Yes. Those were the engineers. Wonder how many of today's engineering buildings
will last
for 1,000 years. Yeah.
Here and me don't mix. Yeah. So Chile from Katona, they're going to come into the portage together. 10 seconds away now. Terry Newsom down at the portage there, portage judge. Both the girls out risk-free. This time it's Chilai's turn to avoid the drinks lane, and Katona comes in, drink already round her neck. She's running hard now on the inside there, and they're going to come out together.
Is this part of their tactics, you think, to switch which one are taking?
Maybe they've only got one person in the drinks lane and they can't do both of them at the same lap.
Hungary.
Both away and working hard. That's proper hard work, actually.
It is.
So, but Katona's confident in the way she catches up. There's no delay in that at all. She goes all the way to where she wants to go before she slows down.
So Shaliva's doing exactly this in the Europeans as well, setting high speed directly after porches and then slowing down a little bit. Part of her tactics, I think. It's exhausting to run that fast, and then keep on the speed will, if you're confident, probably exhaust the fellow competitors more than yourself.
Just as they left shot there, they both put their paddles down.
Yeah.
So here comes Sam Rees-Clark through the portage. She got her drink on the last lap. So she's on her own, and she knows she's on her own now. She's on lap 4 of 6. So there's no point waiting now. She's kept the gap behind her to a decent 50 seconds, and it looks like it's going to stay that way. Tidally into her boat and away. So third place at the moment, Sam Rees-Clark, Great Britain. Still looking strong. Still looking forwards. Probably a little glance over her shoulder as she finishes the turn off, just to see where the chase group are. But the chase group are nowhere. And yes, the food has come in. Is it all us? So we now have some tasty looking croquettes. So excuse us while
And
we
here
talk with our mouth full.
Here comes the hunting party for Samantha, and they are now, it's a minute.
And they're not closing at all.
So it's a little bit more than a minute. They are a little bit more than a minute behind Samantha now. So I think...
looks like Sam's in the clear.
Yeah.
And neither of these girls are running as well as Sam. They're losing a few seconds on each lap and a few seconds on the portage. And the race is starting to look too short for these girls. We're on lap 4 of 6 now.
With Sledge that is leading this group of 2 around this turn.
So Sam Rees-Clark lost around 30 seconds on that last lap.
But gained 20 seconds to the others. So she managed to have a good enough speed to ensure her bronze medal.
Life's looking quite comfortable now for Sam Rees-Clark in her 3rd position. Just running through the portage. In front of us there, Mackenzie and Toledo. Both of those running really well. Mackenzie's rudder's up in the air. It's going to be tough for her. She's going to have to flap that around in the hope that it goes down. It's still up. It's still up. It's still up. She's in all sorts of trouble.
Yeah.
At the turn, you can't see it in the screen, but now it's down and she's off and away. So a little bit of a stress there for Mackenzie.
South Africans often use this hang-on rudder. They're quite alone doing that, actually.
I'm a bit of a traditionalist, Stefan. To me, it just looks ugly. They drag it along the floor, it rattles around. It is safer to drag, obviously, than an understern rudder. But the steering isn't as effective with one of those. And so the leaders in the men's C1, as they did on the previous lap, have gone wide round that prominence, trying to stay in some deep water. They've got time on their hands. There's the chase pair, Portugal and Spain. Junior men's C1. Sorry, Poland and Portugal, not Portugal and Spain. So that's Klos from Poland and Vicente from Portugal. Behind them, from Hungary, now on his own, it looks like Pitnauer. He's dropped Da Costa from Spain, who's just right at the top of your screen now. You can just see his boat. And these two groups choosing different routes to the same destination. And they're just going to close down on Canada's Emma Mitchell in the under-23 women's race. Just past us in commentary, Sabina Laurie running with
Nara Varela from Portugal.
Thanks, Stefan. There they go, into the water. They're both working hard still. They're still working with ambition to change their positions. There's no mistaking where we are. There are Portuguese flags pretty much everywhere around this site. There's a lot of pride here in Portugal, not just in the country itself, but in the region and the towns. The towns, they really compete against each other. Four events like this. I mean, we've had 3 within a 20-kilometer radius, probably.
It's amazing, actually. Portugal have made a big effort to get the nation as a more sporty nation, putting in lots of governmental money into it. Great program for sports in school, great program also for grown-ups and families to sport. And cities gain from that and compete to have big competitions using the circumstances they have at hand, and often that is rivers, and canoeing has become a great sport in Portugal. So actually, as you said, cities, communities are competing to get good events and putting in a lot of money into it, just for the long-term purpose of getting youngsters into sport. And that is for economy, a long-term economy for the nations, actually.
Well, yeah, there's an awful lot to be said for that. You know, sport and health tend to go hand in hand.
Absolutely.
And we've got a retiree just getting out on the pontoon there. I think it was the Australian getting out of her boat there. We'll get confirmation of that for you later, but that could have been Isabel Nielsen retiring. In shot there, 58, Yomi Harada is being overtaken by 3rd and 4th place in the men's C1, Klos and Vicente. So we're feeling refreshed now. We've had a few Portuguese snacks and we're back on top form as the leaders in the junior men's C1 come in. So yes, it was Isabel Nielsen who retired. Hopefully she's not injured or ill. Hopefully it's just a bad day at the office for her. As we look at Emma Mitchell, who will be the next target for the 2 leaders in the junior men's C1. The juniors men's C1 remains unchanged. You got Dunilak and Hodovan out the front where they have been from the start pretty much. 120 metres nearly now, so that gap's doubled since we last saw them at this position. So 1 lap, we gained another 60 odd metres, and these 2 look set for gold and silver. Just 1 more lap to go for them. Really no sense of urgency at all from either of these as they get out. They both ran really hard on 2 previous portages. Dunilak's been out first every time, but Hodovan is faster over the ground than Dunilak. Dunilak now having to match him for speed, and it's hurting just a little bit. Canadian unlucky there to cross in front of them. That wasn't intentional at all. And the 2 guys back in the boat, stress-free. So last big lap for those guys. And here is the chase pack. Oh dear, looks like we might have a penalty. He's got a 30-second penalty for Portugal. I have no idea what the offence is yet, but the crowd will not be happy with that. Leonardo Vicente has a 30-second time penalty. We'll try and find out what it is. He still hasn't grasped where he has to go. He's got to come across to us, where the camera is, and sit there or stand there for 30 seconds. Meanwhile, Klaus is away and round. So unlucky, but he's not sure what he's done. There's a lot of shrugging going on. He's not happy. Nearly ready now. Time will count down. I'm not sure where Pitnow and Da Costa are. He still doesn't know. He's still got his drinks bottle. It's not an offence of drinks bottles going in the water, and off he goes. Apparently it was a drinking bag in the water, which seems odd because he's still got his main one round his body there. So a 30-second penalty for drink bag in the water. And he is away, and he's got 30 seconds to close down on the athlete at the top of your picture there, Adrian Kloss. So, a drinks bag offence. Why he's got a drinks bag when he's clearly got a camel pack on his chest anyway, I don't know. But now it's opened a little window of opportunity for Pitnow of Hungary. Who's just 13 seconds behind him. But here's your leaders. Dunilak just opting to wash hang on the side that make that it's easier for him. Obviously paddling on the one side, steering. He has a preference to wash hanging on that side, which is why he's ducked round the back.
And in the meantime, the ladies have passed the 16.2 kilometer mark with Katona and Salivers in the lead, followed by Samantha Rees-Clark, that is now 1 minute 14 seconds behind them. And then Asa and Sletcher together, and they are 2:32 behind. So it means that Samantha now has 1 minute 15 seconds. And on sixth position in that race up there is Mann from Australia, followed by, she's 2:57 behind, followed by Toledo and Mackenzie.
In the overhead shot there, you can see how shallow it is in the middle of the river there. There's a channel where they're going, and you can see the floor of the river through that middle arch. So those two boys through the bridge for the last time. They'll be up to the top turn, one portage, one short lap, and that's where the medals will be decided. So it's fight is beginning for these two. They'll be weighing each other up. They seem pretty well matched, obviously, to be together at this stage of the race. So it'll come down to who has either the tidiest last portage or the best turn of speed. Dunilak, it seems, has done most of the work, although it's Hodovan leading now. But there we go, Dunilak back in the lead again. And it's 130 metres back to Adrian Kloss, who's now alone in third place after the penalty, the drinks bag related penalty for Leonardo Vicente. It's about now where the river starts to get deep and life gets a little bit easier. So that's how close now Pitnow is to Vicente. And Vicente really has lost the will. He's lost his third place, and now he's just being hunted by Pitnow Coming into the portage, the second Portuguese athlete. It's Luis Varejão. Actually, I might have been misleading you previously because this is Varejão. Varejão from Portugal, running well over the portage. All the Portuguese run pretty well, don't they? It's something they must practice quite a lot.
They do. They have a lot of this kind of races in Portugal.
And he's been followed by the German Yannick Weinald. It looks like it takes about 30 seconds to run the portage. Chelai ahead by 3 or 4 lengths in the under-23 women. Katona struggling just a little.
We'll see how this turns out. I think the race has begun in between them now.
Absolutely. There goes Chelai. She's away, and she's away strongly. Looking a little look back and very strongly away. So far, Katona has closed her down very confidently, but we haven't seen a gap this big immediately after a portage. And that's the body language of someone who doesn't want to be caught right there. There's the gap.
It's full speed ahead, yes.
Katona, they know much more about each other than we know about them. She'll know what the probabilities are of her closing that gap. We saw Facchetti this morning close a gap bigger than that many times. Meanwhile, Sam Rees-Clark comes in for her.
Katona has not given up at all. She is trying to catch the V-wash and going quite far on the left-hand side. And she's catching now. She's catching.
Katona is strong.
She is very strong.
She's catching pull by pull. She looks very controlled.
She doesn't panic. Knowing her strength.
Sam Rees-Clark running across the portage. No drink stop on this one. Gap's a little bit bigger, probably close to 2 minutes, I would think. 71 in front of her in the junior men's C1 from Spain is Luke Ceremitania.
Now they are together again. Chelai Burris saw it and stopped. So slow speed together in the top group.
Great overhead shot there, and you can see exactly where the shallows end and the deep water begins in that picture. So almost a V shape across the river, and it's like the river bed drops off a cliff there. But there's the two leaders together. Looked like it was quite hard work. Well, it can't be anything but for Katona there, but she closed so confidently on someone who wasn't allowing that to happen, or was at least trying to stop it happening.
Yeah.
So
Chelai Burris was testing. He didn't.
But if you do the testing normally, now the other person's caught you up, you'd stop and let them take the lead. Oh my word! We've been joined by Fernando Pimenta.
Yeah. The mascot, Fernando Pimenta.
In commentary here, he's got
Pimentina.
The mascot from sprints last weekend.
Meaning the small Pimenta.
Although Smalls maybe not selling him too well because he's got a giant head.
Yeah.
But it was great at the sprints last weekend or 2 weekends ago. You know, Pimenta was the poster boy of the event and came good. And that's, you know, it's always a bit of pressure to do that.
It's the same with Ramalho here, I think.
The pressure is on for Ramalho here.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So through the portage then was Sletjo, and
it's 1 minute 20 seconds or so now behind Samantha.
So they're not going to close.
No, they are not now. No.
And really struggling behind them was Rebecca Mann of Australia. The gap's about 60 metres, maybe more. Back to Rebecca Mann, and Rebecca Mann is not bristling with energy as she ran across the portage. So there's the graphic. Minute and 20 down, those two on Sam-Maurice Clark. So Sam-Maurice Clark safe, it seems, in third. As the drone looks back from the bridge to the start pontoon.
So within 15 minutes or so, they're coming into their final portage, and then it's just the small lap to go.
So the next medal to be decided will be the junior men's C1. So from Katona to Sam-Maurice Clark, almost 400 metres. We're looking close to 2 minutes there at this stage of the race. And that gap's not going to close, but Sam-Maurice Clark, safe it seems, in third. Could be a second bronze medal for Great Britain in the fourth race of the day.
And the second double for Hungary.
It's not an unusual picture, that's for sure.
But the C1s is a different story.
Yeah, very much so.
And that's
Hungarians
a change.
are not having it their own way at
exactly.
all. So here is the C1. This is a view up to the top turn in the background. Little pontoons on the spit of land that sticks out where it's very, very shallow. And these two have gone quite wide around that spit of land on every other lap.
And the C1s need to be able to paddle effectively.
It looks like they're having a little bit of a flurry of excitement out there. A little bit of testing going on there. Yeah. And it's a Frenchman tried to test the Hungarian. Hungarian was equal to the task.
And the C1s need a little bit deeper water than the kayak paddlers. You didn't expect that because they don't have a rudder, but their strokes are deeper. So when it becomes very shallow, it's dangerous for them to hit the bottom and fall in.
Should be Klos of Poland on his own there. He was, of course, with Vicente until Vicente took his 30-second time penalty. These guys know the rules, Stefan, and to throw your bag in the water, I mean, we've talked about it before.
Yes.
It's just kind of crazy.
It is. And it's really good that the ICF is enforcing this because we don't want plastics in our very nice paddling waters.
No, we don't. And our sport is an environmentally friendly sport. We leave no trace, essentially, once we've left the venue. And it's, I mean, we were joking years ago back in Dior when they were allowed to throw their drinks bags in the water about a colostomy convention. And, you know, hundreds of bags floating down the river. And now, thankfully, they've ended that. Sabina Laurie there running through. Still paddling strongly. Well, that looks like Isabel Nielsen. Again, she was the one who we thought had retired. So maybe we missed something there. Maybe we're just ill-informed.
Barea from Portugal.
She had been with Laurie on the previous laps, but Laurie seems to have broken her by some 30, 40 seconds. And is Poland closing down for a shot on the last short lap against France and Hungary? Or is it just the camera angle? I'm only seeing a couple of waves between Poland and the lead pair there. Yeah, 30 metres. So Klos was second at the Europeans. And he's moving well. Maybe the front two have started jostling for position between each other. Well, the distance is a bit random again, 30, 40, 20, hard to tell. But Kloss is doing well, but he doesn't run as well as the other two, and there's only a small lap to go. So I think third place is his. So Dunilak leads junior men's C1 from David Hodovan from Hungary.
France, that is a very strong marathon C country. Many good athletes.
And kayaks over the last few years.
Yes.
They've had a real strong program. They had Pascal Boucherie seems to have been the catalyst to a new group of paddlers from France.
A former top athlete, very good at 1,000 meters and longer distances.
1,000 meters, 10,000 meters. He's won both at world level. But sadly, will always be remembered for the Olympic final they missed.
Yeah.
I think that still haunts him to this day. I had a chat with him a couple of years ago about it, and it still haunts him now. A little bit of a flurry between the front two. Dunilak being overtaken by Hodovan. It seems Hodovan pulling away. Dunilak having to drop round behind him, going for the more sheltered water. But Dunilak, maybe, we've seen him happier wash hanging on that side, and he is back in contention. So both of these guys looking very, very strong. You see that, and you think there's no way Kloss can catch and match that sort of speed. So spectators enjoying the sun. And he has, Hodovan has broken away. Dunilak matched him. He came round to his left-hand side, which is where he prefers wash hanging. And then the next thing we saw, a little bit of a crowd shot. And when we go back to the race, the gap has opened up some 20, 30 meters back to Dunilak, who is looking a little bit broken right now. Hodovan breaks away for the final portage and looks by far the strongest of the two. So it's going to be an easy finish for Hodovan, it looks like. He'd marked time for a considerable number of laps. So Hodovan comes into the portage, Dunilak behind him, and Dunilak is in danger from Adrian Kloss of Poland. He's pretty much exactly halfway between Hodovan and Kloss, and looking tired. Out goes Hodovan, running through the portage for the last time, running well. So Hodovan through on his way to gold. Dunilak in the background, struggling up the fairly steep stony beach, and the gap is widening all the time. Hodovan into his boat. Dunilak crosses in front of us. And now comes Kloss in front of us. The gap is only 30 meters at the most between Dunilak and Kloss, and that's where the interest lies at the moment. Hodovan is away and clear. He's going to win, but there's your shot. There's Kloss just getting in his boat, just behind the Frenchman Dunilak, who's been safe in first or second all race, and now that safety net is gone, and he is being hunted for second place rather, by the third place Kloss. Through now comes Vicente by the sound of it. The crowd are going wild for Vicente, but it's too late. There'll be no medal for Portugal in this one. It's Hungary from France, from Poland, and Poland are just 4 lengths down now on the Frenchman. Vicente struggling to get in his boat comfortably. Hungary away. France in second place. Poland third. Portugal fourth. Round the turn goes Vicente. So he's going round, but the 3 medal positions are out of reach for Vicente. Camera sticking with him though. So as the camera stays on Vicente, the graphic shows Hungary from France, from Poland. And there is that Hungarian. It's going to be gold for Hungary.
And some report from the upper turn from the ladies is they are still together. Shelai Veres and Katona, 2 minutes before Samantha Rees-Clark, and she is 1 minute 50 before Asa and Sledger. And they in turn has half a minute to Man and Toledo. So Man and Toledo is moving fast. They're trying to reach Asa and Sledger. Otherwise, it's exactly the same positions as we saw before.
So, men's C1. About 600, 700 meters to go to the finish. Our screen's fading in and out of consciousness as we watch it, so I'll try and keep you informed as best I can. Round the top turn now. Just about reaching the top turn. Here we go now. Here's Hodovan. He's safe. He's got time to kill. It's going to be pretty much a victory lap for him. The real interest lies in second and third. Hodovan comfortably round the turn. So our screen's back to life. Hodovan out the bottom turn. For the short term for the final time. Getting a head-on shot of him, and here he comes. Here's your winner from Hungary. I really like a shot back to the Frenchman. There he is. His Dunilak seems to have come back to life a little, and that's why he's had to, because Adrian Kloss is right on his tail now. So Hodovan has 50 meters back to the Frenchman, Dunilak, who only has a very little lead from Poland's Kloss. A little look over his shoulder.
Kloss is choosing a little bit longer route inside to get free from the flow of the river. I don't think that paid off this time.
So, ladies are in their final portage as we watch the C1s. I'll try and give you an update on them as they run through. Here they are now, it's side by side. Chelai taking the lead from her compatriot, Katona. So Chelai running with intent. Katona having to give second best on the portage. Just lapping the Japanese athlete. Hopefully won't get in the way on the turn. So Hungary about to win the men's C1. We're looking at him on screen now. I'll let Stefan carry on with the women's commentary while I finish the men's. So 50 meters or so to go for the winner of the men's C1. It's going to be Hodovan of Hungary. Dunilak has held on to his second place, and Kloss safe in third. So it's Hungary from France, from Poland.
And in the ladies' race, Shalaiveros have made a big effort around the turn, and has now the lead with I think it's 30 meters or so. Shalaiveros, she's going really fast there.
So Chelai, while the men were finishing, has made a significant break on Katona, who, although she's paddling strongly, is not paddling with the intent of someone who's going to close that gap. So it's going to be Shalaiveros.
And Adrian Kloos bringing a bronze medal to Poland, totally exhausted, falling into the water, and as you can see there how shallow it is. He is sitting on the bottom there, just resting in the hot conditions. So Dunilak and Kloos, and Dunilak had a silver and Kloos a bronze medal.
In comes Vicente.
For Portugal, fourth position for Portugal.
He's out of his boat also. Kloos comes back for his paddle. Dunilak doing the sensible thing and keeping Kloos's boat off the course. We don't need boats floating around the finish line.
And Sofia Shalaiveros seems to be safe now, securing the gold medal for herself. Katona is 40 meters behind or so.
As Sam Rees-Clark runs across the front of us in the portage area, she's going to come third. She's safe in third, but head-on shot. No, it's not. I thought that was the leaders, but it's kind of our screen we're commentating from. It's fading. Keeps blacking out on us, so we're doing the best we can for you. Apologies if we're lacking information here. We've got a drone shot, overhead shot. Probably means the cameras close to the finish might be suffering a bit of heat exhaustion. As we watch the next C1, 81 come across the line, is Balazs Pitnauer in fifth. Boros around the top turn ahead by some 40 meters. From Katona. So Shalaiveros in the white boat.
Another very impressive race from Shalaiveros, keeping the initiative all race through, doing most of the job herself actually.
Yeah, and she'll be racing again Sunday, like you said, in the K2 with Renata Shea, and just the sort of paddler Renata would like to paddle with. Races exactly in the same way, same method, and it'd be a very good K2 pairing. But hats off to Katona, was strong throughout. Slet Joe coming through the portage as we look back up the course for the last probably 1 minute paddling for Chelai. 40 meters the gap there. So first and second for Hungary. Just across the line now, Da Costa from Spain in the junior men's C1. But Shalaiveros approaching the line very quickly. Arthur Leach next in the C1. A tragic swim for him in the early stages, but it's finished well. Lunge across the line. He's done himself proud. He knows it could have been better. It wasn't his fault. Sometimes things don't pan out for you. He finishes ahead of the Czech paddler, and the next across the line will be the winner of the Women's Under-23 World Championship, Shalaiveros from Hungary. Very impressive race from her.
Fantastic. Shalaiveros and Lili Katona, also an impressive race. Forced to catch up several times and did it so well. Lili Katona, Hungary.
Katona across the line. Hard work, but impressive work from her. Second place for Hungary. And third place will be the yellow boat of Sam Rees-Clark from Great Britain. It's about 2 minutes away.
And stay tuned for some interviews as well, coming up soon.
We've now lost the signal completely on our screen. So commentating from the jumbo screen, out on the water now. Two Hungarians getting together. Bit of appreciation for what's gone on out on the water there. Couple of tired people. The tiredness is always a lot more bearable when you've come first and second. So Chelai, the winner. You can see it's hard out there, and I think a lot of the stress out there is heat.
It is quite hot now, even if the water cools them down a bit. Temperature around 26, 27, I think.
Just a light breeze, which is great when it's against you, but when it's with you, your temperature just rises and rises. So here comes Sam-Maurice Clark, a casual last lap for her. Lost a bit of ground on the girls behind her, but she doesn't care. She knows she was safe. Bronze medal for Sam-Maurice Clark. That's the second bronze for Great Britain today. Sam-Maurice Clark, a mixture of canoe club, started out at Basingstoke, trained at Elmbridge and at Nottingham with Norman Mason. Been back at Elmbridge the last few weeks before this, been paddling very strongly, and her reward is a bronze medal at the World Championships in the under-23. A medal Alex Lane got last year, remember. So consistent medals in the under-23 from Great Britain and Hungary. Must be doing something right. So 2 medals on the first morning of events. So great stuff from Sam-Maurice Clark. So as we watch Sam finish, the 2 South Africans, Mackenzie and Laurie, are now side by side on their final portage. And there's a little battle within a battle going on there. Mackenzie in first, but she's overturned her boat. She's got a boat full of water, and it's going to be Laurie who gets to the turn first. Mackenzie in all sorts of trouble with her rudder up again. And Sabine Laurie, world surf ski champion, junior surf ski champion, has got the best of Mackenzie on this one. Across the line, second Portuguese canoe paddler. Varajao across the line, and he's going to be followed by the next place in the under-23 women's is Sledger.
Okay, and we're going live. We have the gold and silver medalists in the K1 under 23 years old feminine race. How do you feel? Was this a complicated race?
Yeah, it was kind of complicated, but I was hoping for the winning, and Lily came really hard with me, and it was a very good race.
Okay, Lily, you had a very fast start. Was this a strategy that you adopted for today's race, maintaining the top positions from the start?
Sorry for my English because I learned German, but yeah, it was a quite hard start. I always start this way, so I can do it, and I.
She was pushing so hard, yeah. And it was our technique, kind of, yeah.
Thank you for Zofia. She helped me, and I am really happy.
Well, we can see that you're really happy, and congratulations. How do you feel about the gold, and you about the silver?
I'm feeling really happy because it was my my plan for today. And I'm really looking forward to the Sunday's race in the K2 Senior because I'm going to race with Renate Chai, the kind of queen of marathon. So I'm really excited.
Okay, congratulations! A big round of applause for the gold and the silver medalists. Congrats!
So while the interview was going on, Rebecca Mann from Australia finished in 6th position, just behind Spain's Irati Osa and Anna Sletjo. A little bit of downtime now. We'll get you up to date with the other finishers as they come across the line. Another good race, 2 medals for Hungary. Again, 1 more medal in the C1 for Hungary, 1 for Great Britain in the under-23s, and France and Poland get the 2 other medals in the men's C1. Across the line now, Arantxa Toledo from
Live
Spain.
now, how do you feel? Was this a very hard race for you? I saw that you had this really good strategy. You left the French athletes in front, and then on the last portage, before the last portage, you ran for it, for the first position. How do you feel?
Yes, I feel very happy because it's my first gold medal on abroad and national competition. And my strategy was hard start and save my power to till the end, and I could go with the French, and I see he has a good ammo and he did ammo changes. I can react well to this, and my plan was I can do a higher ammo and escape from him, and I could do it.
And you did well, congratulations. And how do you feel about this gold medal?
I'm very happy now. I can't believe it. I can't say much.
Okay, a round of applause for David and for his first gold medal in this World Championships of Marathon. Well done and congratulations.
Thank you very much.
So interview with the winner of the junior men's C1, David Hodovan, right there. As he was being interviewed, Luke Cerametiana from Spain finished his race. And we're gradually now just winding up some of the tail enders. Running through the portage now for her final portage from Portugal. It's Ana Nogueira. It's 1,000 metres to go for her. As down the finish line, Sabina Laurie got the best of the fight between the 2 South Africans. A little bit unlucky for Christy McKenzie on the last portage. But your luck tends to fade when the stress kicks in. And the stress kicked in for Sabina, for Christy rather, on that last portage. Filled her boat up, the rudder stuck up in the air, and across the line now in the canoes. It's Kotaro Ota from Japan. There's a long gap between Sabina. Oh, here comes Christy McKenzie now. That's okay. I thought something bad had happened to her because the gap was so big between her and Sabina Laurie. Just on that last lap, last short lap, and it's a brutal day for Christy McKenzie. Third in the juniors last year. A step up is always big from any class, from junior to under 23 and from under 23 to senior. It's always a learning curve. As we look back up the course, I think this is still paddling up to the top turn. And then coming back from that turn. Just picking up the tail enders. And it looks like our morning's work could be done, Stefan. Pretty much. Highlights for you from those 4 races?
In spite of minor technological mistakes or failures, but it's the first race of this weekend, and we will pick up on that. Next race starts 15:30 local time, and that is K1 Men Juniors, and that will be a very interesting one as well. 15:15 we start broadcasting from here, guiding you through the race and into the start. So please come back at 14:15 and 15:15, and thanks for watching so far.
So as we watch a Canadian come in, that's Emma Mitchell. Highlights from me for the morning, I think Caitlin McKenzie from South Africa in the junior race, who came 4th, really made the best of the tools she had, and I like to see that in all the races. But you've got to admire the quality of the Hungarian women. They're just so strong.
Absolutely.
2 medals for Great Britain, obviously that's a personal preference that we get medals for, so I'm a little bit biased on that. So that's a highlight for me. And just the numbers.
The numbers
has been a highlight.
Yeah.
The numbers in the junior women's and the junior women's C1. Phenomenal, really.
And we will have a lot more of that this afternoon. It's a large...
Emma Mitchell there, coming in for a final portage.
It's a large race this afternoon, the K1 Men. Starting 15:30 local time, but we broadcast from 15:15. So that concludes this morning's sessions in this World Marathon Championships from Vila Verde in Portugal. Thank you and welcome back. Where do people put comments on the YouTube directly?
Just, straight down the side there. Mostly it's Spanish and Portuguese. Oh, well done. That's our best first morning ever.
We need kind of curtain.
Yeah, maybe that'd be enough. Yeah.
We had last time we were remember we put a curtain down to here. Then look down right to the real picture. And that was okay. Then we saw. It's only in the morning. This afternoon the sun is there.
Sun's there, it'd be easier.
Then they have a problem.
Yeah.
So, I'm lost.
Look at that, how far that Ficchetti is behind. Insane.
Yeah.
This is where the drink bag goes in.
Oh, yeah.
Watch.
Yeah.
Oh, luckily they cut it.
Yeah. Totally unnecessary.
Here we go. There, she picked it up.
Yeah.
Oh no, she's throwing it on the sand. It's on the sand.
It's on the
That's
sand,
fine.
but it should.
Yeah.
I'll bring my other computer tomorrow and we can have the GPS on that as well.
No, it's thrown on the sand.
Did it go in the water?
No.
So you are calling him?